Welcome to Ivory Towers on Television Nigerian, a program that put a searchlight on topical issues bordering tertiary education while engaging critical concerns in the institutions in Nigeria. Today's episode will focus on the rising suicide among youths in tertiary institutions and what experts said about the worrisome trend. I am Aminu Adamu. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned. It is no longer news that there has been a surging trend of Nigerians committing suicide, with about 80 persons killed in the last 13 months. According to reported incidents collected, 79 people had committed suicide between April 8, 2017 and more than 12 this year. Majority of the reasons given for the reported suicides range from financial difficulty, marital problems, academic challenges, among others. According to World Health Organization suicide ranking, close to 800,000 people die globally due to suicide every year, which is one person every 40 seconds, with 15.1 suicides per 100,000 population in a year. Nigeria is now the 30th most suicide-prone out of 183 nations in the world and ranked 10 among its African counterparts. The International Association for Suicide Prevention said suicide occurs throughout the lifespan and is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds globally. However, our youth in the tertiary institutions constitute the largest casualties of suicide in the country, with several cases reported in various schools, and Lagos State leading the pack with 14 reported cases within the period under review. Although mental health awareness is slowly becoming a mainstay of contemporary media, historically, Nigerians saw depression as white man's sickness and believed their beer could cure everything. Currently, one wonders how the Nigerian perception of mental health is, with statistics that rank Nigeria as a top 5 suicide-prone country. Consequently, many medical experts, including students who are the major victims, have expressed concern on the growing rates of suicide in Nigeria and called for a holistic measure to tackle the menace. The Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Abdulaziz Abdullahi, says with a population of about 200 million, Nigeria has a high rate of mental illness. This implies that Nigeria has about 60 million persons with mental illnesses. Nigeria, in essence, has more mental cases than the population of every West African country. According to Abdullahi, the mental disorders are characterized by a combination of abnormal thoughts, perceptions, emotions, behavior, and relationships with others. He said, and I quote, "Mental disorders include depression, bipolar affective disorder, schizophrenia and other psychoses, dementia, intellectual disability, and developmental disorder, including autism." Also, the Director of Public Health, Dr. Evelyn Ngige, said mental illness could destabilize a person more than HIV, heart diseases, accidents, and wars combined. Noting that Nigerians' mental health statistics was too bad, adding that the high rate of suicide in places like Lagos might just be a tip of iceberg. Meanwhile, National Medical Association has called for a holistic perspective on the rising trend of suicide in Nigeria. A psychiatrist, Dr. Tayo Daramola, in his guest lecture during National Medical Association annual general meeting in Abuja, said suicide has accounted for many deaths among the populace.
So suicide is the second most common cause of death among young adults and adolescents the world over. And the WHO has said there are indications that the rate of suicide is decreasing. But that is not the report we're getting from Nigeria. For every suicide, there has been more than 30 attempted, or what we call deliberate self-harm, which did not lead to suicide. So it is very important that we take every such act seriously. And top among the things implicated for suicide is depression, alcohol and substance abuse, schizophrenic illnesses, or other mental health disorders in which people deliberately harm themselves. The rate of suicide in the year following an episode of deliberate self-harm is about 60 to 100 times higher. So if somebody commits a deliberate act of self-harm, you can predict that about 60 to 100 times more likely to commit suicide in the year following.
Deputy Governor Nasarawa State, Dr. Emmanuel Akabe, Dr. Ezekiela Joseph, and others at the event also throw more light on the topic.
The trend of suicide in Nigeria, a holistic perspective, is quite apt. In the present day Nigeria, suicide accounts for about 1 million deaths worldwide annually. And for every death by suicide, 20 to 25 more have attempted, according to the WHO. The Global Health Observatory puts the global age standardized suicide rate at 11.4% per 100,000 people. And suicide is the second leading cause of death among those aged 15 to 29. The rate in Nigeria is put at 9.5 per 100,000. It has been strongly linked to depression and also drug abuse, directly or in association with depression. While suicide is not a new occurrence globally and locally, there is a worrying concern that youth suicide is on the rise. This is particularly troubling for countries like Nigeria that have a relatively youthful population, where they make up a sizable number and are the majority of the productive age group. To lose them to suicide has grave consequences for economic growth. Studies have found that the rate rises from 0.6 per 100,000 among those 14 years and younger to 6.9 per 100,000 among those aged 15 to 19 years. The rate of suicide attempts among adolescents have been put at 12%. We hope to carry this message beyond this AGM, where the impact will be further be felt.
It's quite apt because of recent we've had a few cases of suicides or attempted suicides within the country that have been reported. Now, mark you, those ones have been reported. But I'm sure there have been a lot more in the past, probably much more than what we have, that have not been reported. But because of what is happening, it's important that we raise the awareness and also sensitize our members to look out for such cases. Because I think to a large extent, some of these suicide tendencies could be prevented.
Everybody should work together to make sure that this trend is just cut off completely. And then from government side, from the parliament side, I've asked them that if there is any laws, if there is any bill they want us to sponsor to help curb the incidents, then we are ready to do that. And if there are motions that they want us to bring to the fore for the government to do something about it, that we are all for it, because I believe that there is no reason why anybody should take his or her lives. There's nothing worth dying for.
In a cross-section of interview across the campuses, many students expressed their view on suicide and the worrisome state as it affects their well-being.
I use this medium to tell young Nigerians, students, in fact the entire Nigerian populace, to desist from allowing themselves to be driven by unnecessary depression to committing suicide. You are killing yourself here, and of course you're going to face God, who is your creator, who will also condemn you. So why suffering on the two sides? So it is better you have patience. Now I'm talking about whatever it is that might have led to depression and of course this unwarranted suicide. We feel that yes, government need to look at the welfare of the people, because those are the major things. You see someone who cannot afford square meal, even one, nothing is working or salary is not being paid, maybe by the employer or government, there is delay here and there, or rate of armed robbery, kidnapping. We've seen people who also took their lives as a result of, loneliness, that okay, their loved ones have been kidnapped and taken away, they don't have what it takes to pay for ransom. So they delve into, such unholy practices. We feel strongly that government need to stand up, and even organizations, individuals also need to step up and help the community, help the people to survive at a time like this, because we all agree that times are hard, isn't it? So we feel strongly that the best thing that could also happen to Nigerian populace is for those who are doing well to support their neighbors.
It cannot be pinned down to a particular reason. People that have committed suicide, they might have their reason. It might be frustration, it might be academic reason, and it might also be economic reason, not having enough to keep up with school, frustration either because of academic or because of peer pressure, and so on and so forth. But for me, no matter what it is, it's not advisable to take your life. That means that's the end of the road. But if you keep the faith or keep the hope, you can still pass through that stage. But so many people don't have that will or that hope in life.
Because of the stress, school is not easy. Some people want to fit in to peer pressure. Some people have they want to follow the latest fashion trends. Some people already have so many issues, and then plus the stress, their grades are dropping. They don't know how to cope with failure. So all these things now, they don't take it easily. If you know how to handle stress properly, then you'll be able to control. Everybody goes through stress. We all have bad days, but it depends on how you can control it and get the right help. That's what I would just say about it.
What do you have to say to the youth?
I will tell you to not kill themselves. See, whatever is happening, it will pass. Nothing stays forever. Even your good days, your bad days, it will still pass. So just breathe, move on, and let's go. Go online. Instead of you going online to envy people on Instagram, see who is making up, check self-help books. I've read a lot of self-help books that can help you. Try to move around with good people that lift your spirits up, and know that whatever you're going through will always pass.
Ignorance and depression also. Why I say ignorance, because most people that do things, they are ignorant of what they do. Like, for example, I'm a Christian, so you killing yourself, knowing you are going straight to hell, and you don't know the consequence of what you are doing, you just decide to do what you want to do. So you are ignorant of what will happen to you after life. So I think ignorance is one of the cause and one of the primary cause of this stuff. And depression also is another factor that leads to suicide, because most people, when depression comes, it eats you slowly, gradually, then you think the best is to end the life, not knowing the rope only stop your life but doesn't end the problem.
And other vices, it may actually contribute to the rate of suicide. Also, protective factors like the social support, being married, having someone to confide in, having a good social structure where even if there is an adverse event as regards to your financial fortunes, you have a soft landing by the system which can take care of you. That may seem to be lacking in Nigeria, and so this may be responsible for the reported increase in the suicide.
Those reactions are quite startling. Suicide indeed is a serious problem. Ignorance to the perils of depression might be a cause for lack of attention. If you don't know what depression is and that you need help to treat or manage it, you see your suicidal thought as your only option. While we salute those already educating people on mental health, we need more hands on deck, more educators on depression, especially in the hubs where people are living below the standard. Please always find a time to check on your friends. You might not know your presence could be a great timing to stop someone committing suicide. This is where I draw the curtain for today's edition. Till I come your way on the next episode, I will bring you more exciting stories from Ivory Towers. Thank you for watching. I remain your host, Aminu Adamu.